And guys like the Prime Minister of England are the kind of guys that know a guy that can put a red dot on your forehead. I know Kate says the Doctor lets the human race decide big questions like this, but I think it's pretty rare for him to be okay with outright genocide, aside from those 1, 2, or maybe 5 other times that he did it himself. WTF happened to all the trash? It's clearly gone from all the major city streets as people seem to be getting around freely, and in all the city shots there isn't any trash, and the guy that Kate wanted to shoot was running just leisurely on the beach. I mean, everything looks pristine. So we have finally come to the end of this Doctor Who spin-off series. By my count, the first 2 episodes were pretty good, while the next 2 were, well, not as good. The problem for me was the shift in tone from a series that was leaning into a political intrigue drama that was very much like that odd remake of The Creature from the Black Lagoon that won a bunch of awards a few years back. Do I trust that RTD is going to get this series back on track with a finale that wraps everything together in an earned and not at all unfulfilling way? Fuck no. He's the worst at it, and it's especially true with Doctor Who stuff. But, you know, if it sucks, we can make fun of it. Will the war be won by the humans? Will Salt and Barclay get together in the end? Will Kate lose her ever-loving mind? And will the 14th Doctor continue to sit on the sidelines while one species commits genocide on the other? Spoilers, if you answered yes to all those questions, you have already watched this turd of a finale. So let's wrap this shit up and at least have some fun with it while we do it. Let's watch the final episode of The War Between the Land and the Sea. Subscribe or I'll let Tide eat your dog. The Sea Devils pop up and blow a conch shell and summon all the dogs to catch them and eat them. This pisses off the humans, and you know, is not cool and all, but we do get this great exchange.
You ate our dogs.
You eat our fish.
Well, you can't eat our dogs.
You can't eat our fish.
Our dogs are domesticated.
Our fish are family.
Meanwhile, Kate is having delusions and getting lost in her memories of Ibrahim, and then gets all bitchy with her psychiatrist about not upping her meds and wanting to declare her unfit. So Kate blasts her with the fact that her kid is not her husband's, and she'll go ahead and reveal her secret. You go, Kate. Kate's not the only one bummed. The world doesn't know what to do with Barclay, even though arresting him seems like a no-brainer considering he aided and abetted the escape of a war criminal and harbored a known fugitive from justice in the middle of a military conflict. Seems pretty easy to know what to do with Barclay, but Unit is dumb and they put him in a hotel with nobody else but some security guards and a lot of cameras to watch him while he eats, shits, and masturbates.
Oh, I baitin'.
Back at Unit Command, this guy you've never seen before comes in and tells all of us in a very authoritative way that the Sea Devils have really just been dicking around since terrorist Ted blew up their boys, and they've really been heating up the ice caps and accelerating climate change. So you know, that shit's not good. Then this guy pretty much disappears and is not relevant to the rest of the story. Back on the floor, Tide says, "Yep, we're doing that shit. We're melting your glaciers." And I guess he wins the argument by acting like a 12-year-old.
Nevertheless, I have to ask...
You started this.
Yes, if we could just push...
This was started by you.
I don't think it's appropriate...
Who made this happen?
Barclay visits his ex-wife, who betrayed him last episode. She's pretty bummed about the whole situation. And the world is pretty pissed at Barclay because he traded his race for that fish lady. And now his kid and her have got to live in some house under guard. And that's going to be for the rest of their lives. But Barclay can come and visit anytime he wants. Barclay tells her he slips out at night to go scream into the sea. But don't worry, he's got a whole plan on how to get out undetected. Of course, the Institute or government people already know about all of this, so they figure they can let her come in, do the severance thing, and end this shit. Kate is really losing her mind, and she confronts the Prime Minister about severance, which, doesn't work, and then she insults and threatens him. I mean, Kate, I know you don't have to answer to any one government official and believe that you will be insulated in your position for years to come, even though a few minutes ago some psychiatrist was but an affair away from unseating you from that position. But you just had a red dot on your forehead a few nights ago. It's the reason your boyfriend is dead and you're all in the feels right now. And guys like the Prime Minister of England are the kind of guys that know a guy that can put a red dot on your forehead. The Institute drugs Barclay, injects him with severance, gets his fingerprints, and then GTFOs before he wakes up. He runs out to do his night screams, and Salt finally shows up the next morning and they kiss. She tells him she's been swimming alone all this time.
You'll never swim alone! You'll never swim alone! You will never swim alone!
And tells him to tell the world to ask for an accord. It's sort of like Parlay, but less piratey. Barclay tells Kate, and they shoot out the message via some nonsense, and because UNIT saves the world every day, even if it means treason, that signal goes out all over the world, through every ocean and waterway. That don't matter though, all the fish people are dead. Well, most of them anyway. You see, Salt wasn't exactly swimming alone, and she passed on severance to all of the ocean, and now all the fish people are dead. UNIT figures out that severance was a virus, and this lady gets pretty self-righteous about it.
We meet a new species. We slaughter them.
Shut it!
The Sea Devils that survive want to talk, but only want to talk to Barclay again. We find out the Sea Devils are so wiped out that they had to go and bring Salt back. Barclay completely doesn't say a damn thing on the teleprompter, and Salt tells us that 1 in 10 survived the virus. So all the Sea Devils that are left took all their advanced technology and threw it all in some water cave, and also kill everyone involved in severance. The humans give Salt and all of the rest of the defeated Sea Devils a strip of the ocean, and hell, I don't know, probably the ability to open casinos, and the Homo Aqua accept. Salt also shows where some fishermen caught that ugly fish from the beginning. It was supposed to be sad, but I laughed until I peed myself a little. The Sea Devils f*** off, and they break that big aquarium while Barclay frowns. Everyone leaves the room, so they don't drown. Everyone but this reporter who decides to interview Barclay while the glass breaks. I mean, Jesus, lady, way to get the scoop. And then some guards shut the door. Like, that's gonna help. Kate and Jamie explain why the doctor isn't here, even though he's in Donna's backyard right now. When Barclay's doctor rings Kate that, I don't know, I guess they figured out that he was growing gills. Anyway, they tell him in a montage. He says goodbye to his family in a montage.
That's called a montage.
And meets Salt in the ocean, kisses him, grows those gills but is still super pasty, and those star-crossed lovers swim off together while some terrible version of We Could Be Heroes plays. Just kidding. Kate walks away from this bittersweet ending to see some jogger throw his plastic water bottle on the beach, apparently either completely forgetting or missing the worldwide apocalypse event that just played out over the past few weeks, and she snaps. She pulls a gun on him, fully looking like she's lost her mind, and repeatedly threatens him to pick up his trash. The end. Things that I liked. I actually really liked Kate again in this episode, and quite honestly, I liked her in the whole series. If there was one character that remained consistently good and compelling throughout, it was Kate. Look, I understand that the mid-credit moment was hilarious to watch, Watching Kate pull her gun on a dude that threw a plastic bottle down on the ground is pretty damn funny. But the reason that it's funny is it's not because of the implications to the character. The implications for the character are great. I'm very hopeful that this isn't the last we hear about all of this, and the next time we see Kate, she's just magically better. No, the reason that this is funny is because it hasn't been earned. We see that Kate has been through some She lost her boyfriend, she lost control of the worldwide threat, she participated in the genocide of another race. So yeah, we can understand why Kate would do something so completely out of character and pull a gun on this random guy. But it's funny because even though we really kind of feel bad for her, we don't really know Ibrahim that much. And we certainly didn't know very much about their relationship. We got to see a few meetings and some backroom deals that, sure, were certainly frustrating for her, but most of the time we got to see Barclay and Salt fall in love while we all watched with squinted eye thinking, is he gonna f*** a fish? We sort of understand the stakes, but we don't really feel them very much, and then, just as it sort of felt like we were moving into the third act of the story, it just kind of ends with all the fish people floating dead in the water. Kate's struggle and descent are understandable, but the whole series is unearned, so this moment doesn't really resonate. Now understanding what they were going for with the politics and the message of the show, they really should have abandoned the weak love story plot and made the show about Kate. Nothing Salt and Barclay do matter to the greater part of the story past terrorist Ted's big bomb, so maybe they should have just killed them both off right there and shifted the narrative to Kate. If they had done that, they definitely would have gotten our attention, raised the stakes with the viewers a lot, and paved the way toward earning that ending. And having seen Gemma Redgrave's performance throughout her time on Doctor Who and in this series, I have no concerns that she would have been able to pull it off. She has consistently taken the bad and cheesy lines that she's been given and just gave it her all. Hell, she delivered one of the most baffling lines in Doctor Who history with this.
Birds will sing again. There will be birds.
But she did it with conviction and was compelling. Gemma is great and always does the very best that she can with the material that she's given. I like how dark the ending was. I mean, normally the show never has the balls to pull off a full-blown genocide unless it's the Daleks, or some one-off race that nobody cares about, or the Time Lords off-screen. Well, alright, come to think of it, there's a lot of genocide going on in the Doctor Who universe, but rarely do we get to see it in this detail. But it does beg the question of where the 14th Doctor was during all of this. I know Kate says the Doctor lets the human race decide big questions like this, but I think it's pretty rare for him to be okay with outright genocide, aside from those 1, 2, or maybe 5 other times that he did it himself. I'm not saying the show needed to have the Doctor at all. In fact, it was a bit refreshing not to expect him to swoop in and fix everything with his sonic MacGuffin. But the problem that you create for yourself when the Doctor doesn't die and is just in the backyard of someone that actually works for UNIT and has already let on that sometimes he goes off in the TARDIS, everyone is going to wonder where he is. But nonetheless, it was fun that the show actually decided to go there, even if how it actually got there was one head-scratching decision after another, so I'll give it some points for that. Things I didn't like. There are so many scenes and so many conversations in this episode and all throughout the series that are just not necessary. Let's just go through a few in this episode.
You're something of a miracle, Mr. Pierre Dupont. It's a marvelous surname. Where's it from?
My father was French.
Amazing.
Is it? Yeah.
Okay, so some doctor asks Barclay about his name, and we find out Barclay's dad sucked, and he joined UNIT, and now he's famous in Mrs. Salt. Cool story, bro. We knew everything that you just said, except for the part about your drunk dad, and that has no bearing on the rest of the story at all. I suppose you could say that I now understand how sad Barclay is, but you had just showed him all slumped-shouldered by the pool, so I think I get it. The fact that Barclay needs to scan his food before he sees it? Sure, it's a neat add-on, but you show it to me a few times and then you drug him anyway. If you didn't add in this scene, nobody would have missed it. You already had military people delivering his food. The extra security layer is neat, but it's a waste of time. Then there's this whole scene after they inject Barclay with severance and the guard has to get back to his spot just in time so that we can have tension. That was a complete waste of time, and we didn't need to see it. I mean, for a series that everybody complained had too much to wrap up in a short amount of time, it sure wasted a lot of that time with padding. I didn't like the whole dog thing. Now, I assume that they just ate the dogs in this city that could get out of their house or their yard. I figure there were some dogs that can get out of their houses and yards pretty easily. And considering that they don't have opposable thumbs, the ones that couldn't convince their owners to open the door, or the ones that were just locked up in a shelter, they were all fine, right? And it wasn't everywhere, right? Plus, I get the whole, well, fish are our family argument on why the sea devils eat our dogs, but I thought you guys wanted me to root against the humans and realize that we are the true monsters. I'm sorry, man. The sea devils killed a multitude of good boys and good girls. The second you did that, I turned into the guy that was running on the beach at the end. Your argument for why I suck is gonna need to be brought to me by someone who doesn't eat my fucking dog. Here's a cute puppy. Here's Tide. Here's Tide eating that cute puppy. Now Tide wants to talk to you about why you should speed up your cleanup efforts and reduce pollution. You see how you don't give a past the point that Tide ate that cute dog? We may be monster sea devils, but we don't eat cute dogs. Fish may be your family, but I can't cuddle with a perch, and a grouper never alerted anyone to danger before some asshat broke into their home. So the sea devils, who live in the ocean, have heating technology that can melt icebergs in an accelerated time period. These who claim to have woken up not too long ago now have technology so advanced that they can create bubbles that can withstand millions of pounds of pressure, the ability to pitch anything from the ocean onto the land from clouds in the sky like it's rain, have shelled dog whistles that they can blow and then eat our dogs, now have heating devices designed to accelerate the melting of our polar ice caps. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you answered how the sea devils were able to dry up the ground after they drowned these two dum-dums in 3 minutes flat, but you can just right off with the idea that humans are the real monsters in this story. Yeah, we pollute and are dickheads at negotiations, but these f***ers came up here from an ocean with technology they knew would kill us and then immediately started using it. Remember, the sea devil Homo aqua weirdos understand that the human race as a whole did not know about their existence until they summoned up their coral platforms to show themselves off. So their shitty demands about how quickly we're supposed to clean up the oceans and can't use our boats or airplanes, and how eager they are to throw full-size passenger ships at us, kinda tells me that they weren't looking for peace at all. They knew humans wouldn't be able to meet their demands and were ready to wreak havoc on us. So quite honestly, units should be thanking the Institute of Los Clemente for executing severance and striking a fatal blow before these ended humanity. Not because they were sick of our polluting the oceans, as seen by their ability to just clean up the oceans in a nanosecond and use that pollution as a weapon, but because they just want humans gone entirely. Why else would they have this technology to heat up polar ice caps and melt them quicker than they are currently melting? And if the argument is, well, if humans were gone, that'll solve the problem and the sea devils just want to save the earth from the evil humans. Well, I would counter with, they don't give one about the environment or their so-called family. because the melting of the ice caps disrupts the habitat and food sources for millions of sea life that depend upon them. Look, humans may be bad, but these asshats are way worse. By the way, how do we know the things heating up the ice caps were turned off before we killed them with that virus? Oh, give me a fucking break that they would have allowed Barclay to be the ambassador again when the defeated Homo Aqua come to beg for their strip of land and smallpox blankets. I don't care if she asked for him to do it or not. She's not in any position to dictate who's gonna speak for the human race when the Homo Aqua agree to a treaty. They just got their asses genocided. I mean, sure, we can feel bad about how we went about it later, but Tide had just given us 5 years or he was gonna do the exact same thing to us and drown us all to death. And now she gets to be all righteous about how scared she is of all of us? Sure, I'm certain Salt wouldn't have done this if she was in charge, but she's just what's left. And she certainly doesn't get to dictate that a criminal to humanity under house arrest now gets to be the only person that she speaks to. Things I didn't understand.
We can't clean a single river in 5 years. Never mind the world.
I don't understand the problem here. Tide gives humans 5 years to stop polluting the water the sea devils recently took all the trash out of and threw back onto the land. Sure, there may be some sludge and shit left over from all the oil spills, but I feel like 90% of the work here was already done for you. But it does beg another question, and WTF happened to all the trash? It's clearly gone from all the major city streets as people seem to be getting around freely, and in all the city shots there isn't any trash, and the guy that Kate wanted to shoot was running just leisurely on the beach. I mean, everything looks pristine. So what did we do with it? Are there now dump sites that look like the beginning of WALL-E? Did we just push it all back into the ocean? Are there burn pits and unpopulated areas and close to where poor people live? Because one of those 3 ways is exactly how humans would handle it. I don't understand how Barclay turns into whatever the he turns into at the end. How did he get gills to become pasty fish man? Look, I know I'm dumb, and I assume the implication is that when she kissed him or saved him or when they she imparted to him some kind of virus or changed his DNA somehow or whatever. And that whole long-ass scene with the unit doctor and how Barclay only feels better when he's in the water and all of that was foreshadowing the changes going on in his body. But like, if that's true, when did he agree to that? I mean, it feels kind of weird how quickly he falls so deeply in love with Salt after one day on the run, completely abandons his family and says goodbye to them over the phone, and flops around like some lovesick older dad who chats online with an out-of-his-league 20-year-old from Chad or the Ukraine or whatever that is totally real and totally not asking him for his credit card numbers. Kind of feels like whatever Salt injected into Barclay that gave him the gills also acted like some sort of love potion from Harry Potter. And then when Barclay is injected with the severance virus, which I guess doesn't affect him because he doesn't have any gills yet, which he then just passes on to her through a kiss, and she passes it on to all the rest of the fish people. I'm not sure how she did that considering she was supposed to be ostracized, but it happens uber fast. And I guess Barclay never figured out that he was the weapon the humans used to wipe out all the fish people, but that the Sea Devils certainly did because they knew who gave the order, and that way they can enact their fish justice. So then Salt is just fine with living bittersweetly ever after with Barclay knowing that he was the one to give her the virus that wiped out 90% of her people? Girl, what else did they give him? I mean, even emotionally, he's just gonna be a constant visual reminder that you were used as a secret government genocide bomb on your entire race. I mean, sometimes relationships are just not meant to be. Yeah, sure, everything I say is pretty much just nitpicking the episode. But when I even know my observations are dumb, I stick them in
Nitpick Corner!
It's pretty funny Barclay just thinks he's slipping out from under Unit's nose when he goes sea-screaming every night. Sure, he has some piece of tech that can disable cameras or put them on a loop or whatever, who cares? He does this to all the cameras in his little hotel apartment. And I guess he's bribing the front door guard who knows all about this, but okay, I guess Barclay is a trusting guy. But then he just runs around the city being tracked by who knows how many cameras his little piece of tech didn't catch or he didn't see, never even checks for trackers in his clothes or his shoes, or stashed on that car that somehow just sits there waiting for him every day and hasn't been impounded by now, drives for miles to the coastline, breaks into a fence, strips nude to get into the seawater and scream for salt. Are you shitting me, Barclay? You cannot be this stupid. Of course they know you do this, dum-dum. You can't even keep this shit quiet from your ex-wife who clearly doesn't like your rebound girlfriend and has already gone blabbing to the government the last time you tried running away with her. You are an idiot. So was the Prime Minister already getting sick or something? What the hell were these big-ass sores on his face? I mean, he ends up puking water in the shower, and thankfully there was a drain already there. And then the French bitch drowns in her car, and she doesn't have any sores. Shit. Are these just age spots on the actor, and I'm the asshole for pointing it out? Also, did she just vomit water in the car that drowned her and her buddy? Did she die in her own sick? Damn, this thing was kind of dark.
Very funny!
Yeah, it was, Barclay. It actually was pretty funny. Man, this series had a lot of potential with those first 2 episodes. I liked a lot of what was happening there. You had the setup for something that was going to be fun and mature. It had this classic feeling, it had interesting characters, it had political intrigue and drama. Was it a bit cheesy? Of course it was. But its themes were being dealt with in a more mature way than the mother show. But then, I don't know what happened. This fun, political, sci-fi thriller turned into this weird rom-com, and then it turned into a Romeo and Juliet story that just happened to have Unit in it. It feels a lot like RTD had a good idea and a solid enough first act to a story, and then everyone decided that was enough. But at least it wasn't as preachy as I thought it was going to be. I give the finale of The War Between the Land and the Sea a 2. It sucked. But you have to give them credit for having the balls to pull off another patented Doctor Who genocide. Damn, for a show that asks the question, do I have the right, it sure does answer that quite often with, you betcha. Hey, I bet you didn't know that the Chicago Whovians will be screening this very series coming up very soon. Check out their Patreon because they're always having events coming up and they're pretty good people. If you're looking for friends that understand where these kind of memes came from, then this is the right place for you. Their Patreon is free, so you got nothing to lose. So now that we're done with all that modern stuff, we can get back to the classics of Doctor Who that we had already been reviewing, and we can finally get to the Terror of the Zygons, suggested by everyone who uses this TV. I have been putting that off for quite some time now, just simply because I was able to finally get my hands on this series. After that, we'll get into the Sunmakers and a few others, but if you have something that you would like for me to review, please put it in the comments and I promise I will take a look at it and put it on the list. And as always, the ambassador from Vietnam would like it on record that taking offense at salty ham is racist. Sea devils blow the shells at sunrise, and suddenly the dogs are gone. Kate sees Ibrahim in her daydreams. She tries and fails to be calm. Barclay should be cuffed in prison, but they hide him in a hotel. Tide says, yes, we're heating up your glaciers. Clean up or go straight to hell. Pick up your trash. Pick up your trash. Kate says you better not go and litter or you will bleed. Up on the shore they jog all day and then just blindly toss away. While Kate be ranting, she keep on chanting, pick up your trash. They jab Barclay with the virus, then he wanders to the shore. Salt says she should ask for a cord now, but they kiss and end the war. Just look out on all the water, fish bodies bob, but oh well. Sea devils get a scrap of ocean, the rest can go straight to hell. Pick up your trash. Pick up your trash. Kate sees one bottle, loses her marbles, now she's crazy. Some little runner tosses junk. Kate pulls a gun like try me punk. She keep on chanting, full time she ranting, pick up your trash. Oh my God, you're still here? Well, okay. I appreciate it. I love the fact that you made it to the end of the video. But, that's the end of the content for now. In case you're still wanting to watch videos on YouTube, here's one that you could probably check out. I don't know what it is. I just set the settings to best for the viewer. So likely it's going to be one of mine or potentially another Doctor Who kind of thing. I don't know. Click it. Find out. I'll see you next time with Terror of the Zygons. Bye!